Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Friday, July 3rd. Um, I am obviously not in the hospital anymore. I got out yesterday afternoon, feeling wonderful, having no issues or concerns. Um, Happy to be back talking to you guys in this location. Um, I know I could have done more towards sending out stuff while I was in the hospital, but I don't really like doing that, so I didn't. Um, I hope everybody else is doing well. I hope you're taking care of yourselves, not forgetting to tell yourself what you like about yourself or what you'd like to change. And yeah, I'm much more excited, much more happy, out of some of my other pain that I've been in. I guess that it'll do it to you when you are flat on your back for 2 days. So the hardest thing, I'll get to that thought in a minute. Word of the day. The word of the day today is corrode. 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 Corrode means to slowly break apart and destroy metal, an object, etc., through a chemical process or to undergo such a process. It is also used as a synonym of undermine, to mean to gradually destroy or weaken. Several sections of the pipe have corroded and will need to be replaced. Years of lies and secrets have corroded their relationship. So I'm going to go back to my medical stuff. For those of you that are new to me, or haven't heard my history, I am a cancer survivor. Um, Back in 1997, I was diagnosed with a rare form of cervical cancer. They did what was called back then a radical hysterectomy, and they took out the entire uterus, the cervix, part of the vaginal wall, and they harvested lymph nodes up along my back looking to see if it had gotten anywhere else. When all the results came back, they didn't see any other cancer in the lymph nodes. So they determined that they got everything that they needed to get. About 4 months, 5 months after the surgery, I started having pain. It started with back pain, then right leg pain. My blood pressure went up. UTIs. UTIs that 6 different courses of antibiotics did not get rid of. I'm worried at that point that it's something to do with my kidney or kidneys, because as an x ray tech back then, we used to do a lot of kidney studies to see what the problem was using a tomo machine. And we would inject dye and then using the tomo watch how it went through the system. CAT scan kind of took that over for us when CAT scan got better. But still, we had to ask all the questions. Have you had back pain? Have you had urinary tract infections? Have you had increased blood pressure? All these were signs that there was a problem with a kidney. Yes, my same symptoms. So instead of talking to myself, I need to talk to you guys. Uh, Look at the camera, Susan. They always tell you don't look at the camera. But for this, look at the camera. I went to my doctor. I went to my primary. She said there was nothing wrong. Complained about my back pain bad enough that they gave me an MRI of the spine. But back then, I guess it was just the spine that they focused on. They did not look at the kidneys and stuff. So I got very frustrated with that. But then they told me, and this was when TRICARE was brand new. Then they told me they could only listen to one complaint per doctor visit. And I was like, but what if they're all connected? Well, the doctors will figure that out. But I was seeing a different doctor every time, and I couldn't ask, could I have this doctor every time? So, saw the doctor about the urinary tract infection. They gave me the antibiotics. Then saw the doctor about my increased blood pressure. And they said, oh, it's because you're obese. We're going to send you to nutrition classes. So each one of my symptoms was looked at separately, and none of them were looked at together. When I finally got back, well, when I went to my OBGYN oncologist for my 3 months, or I guess at that point, 6-month checkup, oh, that's nothing to worry about. Just talk to your primary care. It's not related to your cancer. Okay. 9 months checkup, same thing. When I went for my year checkup with the OBGYN, the same resident that had been there to check everything for my colposcopy came in to do my checkup. And when she did the manual exam and moved her hand to my right side, I nearly came off the table. The pain went shooting down my leg. That's when she sent me for a CAT scan. And the CAT scan showed not one, but 2 masses. This is a long story. I'll get there, though, to what I was going to talk about. So, those 2 masses, the radiologist had said the one on the left was definitely my ovary and it was cystic, but the one on the right he felt was a cystic ovary. He wasn't absolutely sure, but he felt, but I don't remember the wording of the report, but it was like believed to be or something like that. So when my OBGYN oncologist got the results, he goes, no, I'm not happy with this. Sent me for an ultrasound. During the ultrasound, the radiologist did an extensive, and I mean extensive check. We won't go on how uncomfortable that was. But anyway, it's still determining that it was my ovary, even though he could not see it on ultrasound. So my OBGYN oncologist said, let's go ahead. I don't believe the results here. I think we need to go in and do what's called an exploratory lap. I was like, okay. So you're going to cut me open, put your hands in me, look down, and see what you can find. Got it. Sure, go ahead. My mom and dad were on vacation at the Outer Banks, and mom and dad came up for that surgery. And before I went into the surgery, I looked at my doctor and I said, my mom and dad will be here. Please talk to my mom. Let her know everything. And I mean everything. She was a nurse. You can tell her everything. When I woke up from surgery, mom was in the room. Dad was in the room. Um, I was still kind of out of it. It took a long time for me to come out of anesthesia because they put me on the morphine pump immediately before I woke up. So it took me forever to actually wake up in um, recovery. And I don't even remember waking up in recovery, to be honest. When they talked to my mom, they said it was taking me a long time. And she said, because she remembered when I had my hysterectomy, every time I'd get a dose of morphine, I'd fall asleep. So she said, asked them if I was on, had they given me morphine? And they said yes. And she said, scale back the dose or take it off for right now. And lo and behold, once they got past like an hour after they stopped the morphine, I woke up. Apparently, morphine makes me tired, puts me to sleep. Anyway, so mom wouldn't look at me. I knew there was a problem then. I knew it was bad. She didn't mean to not look at me. She tried. It's just one of those, I guess, natural things for a mother. I don't know. My mom's always been super strong, but I was her daughter, so it probably affected her more when Dr. Farley came in. We talked for a few minutes, and then he told me that my cancer was back. It was a good sized tumor that was sitting on the femoral artery, bundle branch of nerves to my right leg, and the ureter to my right kidney, which had been shutting down my kidney, which to me explained all my symptoms. And then he looked at me and said, well, no. I asked, so what are we going to do about it? No, I missed a step. Then he told me that it was inoperable. They couldn't remove it. It had no margins. If they had cut one of the little things that was floating away from it and left it behind, it could have gone into any part of my body and metastasized. So I said, what are we going to do? And he goes, we're going to do chemo and radiation. Chemo. That made me stop for a minute. After a bit of discussion, I decided to go ahead with it. Whatever. Especially when he said it wouldn't I don't remember what I was going to say there. Anyway, long story to tell you that the radiation treatment has permanently damaged my colon. My colon that was in that area that we had the radiation from the belly button down to the end of the pelvis, not all the way down the legs. Just, yeah. Okay, you got it. Creating thickened walls on a lot of my small bowel. Ended up going in and doing a resection somewhere around the 5th or 6th. Well, I'm going to pause this. Sorry, my husband interrupted me. So because the radiation caused those changes, apparently the least bit of aggravation of my colon can cause the obstructions. So now I'm going to find a GI doc, hopefully close, and work with them to try and figure out if there's anything we can do to stop this. Because this is last June, January, and now this June. 1 year, 2 obstructions. One, they've been partial obstructions. So I've been getting better about knowing my symptoms and getting care and not waiting till it's a worst case scenario. But now I want to try and figure out why. Why is this happening? One of the things I noticed was my white blood cell count was up. Is there some sort of infection I keep getting that's triggering this? Because enteritis, which is inflammation of the bowel, is what was happening. The more inflammation of the bowel I get, the more often the obstruction's happening. So, what am I doing? What am I eating? What am I drinking that's causing this? What can I do to help it not be happening? All right. So, long story short, no, you can't make a long story short. But the end of this long story for today. So, if you didn't know my history, that's part of it. There's much more to that than that, and I am working on a book for it. Um, I had a book deal that I thought was going to go through, and then they wanted me to pay, and I'm like, no, I shouldn't be paying for the right. No, you should be paying me to publish. Anyway, that is why I was in the hospital, because I had enteritis, inflammation of the bowel. And it looked like it could have turned into working on a partial small bowel obstruction. I'm okay with this, by the way. Everybody's like, how do you do it? And I'm like, I'm alive. One of the things that they told my mom that day was that I only had 3 to 6 months to live because the tumor was sitting on the femoral artery. They believed that either the tumor would eat through that femoral artery, or the treatment, which was going to be aggressive, chemo piggybacked with radiation, could kill me. I beat the odds. Why do I always... Never mind. Now, can I please beat the odds and win the lottery? Putting it out there. Everybody consciously think about that. Let Susan win. And I don't care. I don't care if it's the big jackpot. I want enough to be able to move where I want to live, where I am close to the grandkids, close to some waterways, a place to retire where I can retire. Enough money not to ever worry about retiring. Love you all. My Valentines.